Imagine sitting on your front porch, sipping a warm cup of coffee, and wondering whether your brain has room for something new. Maybe you've watched younger folks pick up online dances or code websites, and thought, could I do that too? The answer is a heartfelt yes, and retirement is exactly the time to explore. I'm excited to share 7 fun, carefully chosen new skills that are perfect for those of us who've earned a little extra time and wisdom. Each one is practical, easy to start, and grounded in real benefits, like keeping your mind sharp, making new friends, and adding a fresh spark of purpose to your days. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with ideas that feel doable, not overwhelming, and maybe even a bit surprising. From learning a new language that unlocks travel dreams, to smartphone photography that captures moments with family, to gentle movement practices you can enjoy without worry, these skills can ignite curiosity and joy. If any of this resonates with you, it would mean a lot to me if you hit the like button and subscribe to Vibrant Elders. And before we jump in, tell us in the comments, which of these sounds most intriguing to you? I can't wait to read your thoughts. Get ready to explore, have fun, and step into a new chapter of learning. Our first skill has everything to do with connecting, no passports needed. Let's begin. Number 1, learn a new language. Picture yourself walking through a little Spanish town, ordering a café con leche with ease. Or chatting with your neighbor in French about their garden. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's closer than you think, and you don't have to be 25 and living abroad to get started. One of the most rewarding things you can do for your brain, and your spirit, is to learn a new language. Studies have shown that picking up even a few words in a second language can slow cognitive decline and keep our memory sharper as we age. And the best part? You don't need to enroll in a fancy school or memorize conjugations like you did in high school. The tools today are so friendly, fun, and designed for real life. Take apps like Duolingo or Babbel. They offer short, simple lessons that you can do in your recliner with a cup of tea. You can learn how to say, "Where's the bathroom?" or "I love my grandchildren," in under 5 minutes a day. It's not about being perfect, it's about stretching your mind and having fun while doing it. You might also check with your local community center or senior resource program. Many offer free or low-cost language classes, and some even pair you with conversation partners over Zoom. A woman I met recently, named Maria, started learning Spanish at 68. At first, she was nervous. But now she practices with her granddaughter in Madrid every Sunday. "We laugh a lot," she said. "And I feel like I'm learning her world." The beauty of starting a language now is that there's no rush, no test, no pressure. You go at your pace. Maybe you love to cook, so you learn a few Italian phrases to match your pasta nights. Maybe your roots trace back to Germany or the Philippines, and this is your way of connecting with that heritage. Or maybe, it's simply about keeping your brain young and your heart curious. And you don't have to do it alone. Invite a friend to join you. Make it your new Saturday morning tradition: coffee, a laugh, and a couple new phrases to practice. You'll be amazed how quickly the small wins build up, and how proud you'll feel when you understand a word or say something new out loud. So what would you love to say, and in which language? That little question could open the door to a whole new world. Now, if words aren't your thing, maybe pictures are. Because our next skill is all about capturing moments you love, and it's as close as the phone in your hand. Number 2, digital photography or smartphone photography. Do you remember when taking a photo meant loading film, winding the camera, and hoping for the best? And then, weeks later, you'd pick up the prints and half of them were someone's blurry thumb? Well, those days are long gone, and now, you've got an amazing camera sitting right in your pocket or purse. Learning to take great photos with your phone isn't just fun, it's surprisingly meaningful. It turns everyday moments into small pieces of art. A blooming rose in your backyard, the way your cat curls up on the couch, the light through your kitchen window in the morning. All those little things you love, captured beautifully and easily. And the best part? You don't need to be a tech whiz. If you can tap your screen, you can take photos. Most phones today have built-in features that adjust lighting, focus, and even suggest the best composition. You can start with something as simple as turning on the grid lines in your camera settings. That alone helps you frame better photos instantly. A good friend of mine, Jim, retired last year and started snapping pictures of his garden every morning. At first, it was just for fun. But soon he was sharing them with his family, then uploading them to Instagram. His granddaughter even commented, "Grandpa, you've got a photographer's eye." That small hobby became a daily ritual of joy, mindfulness, and connection. And that's another hidden gem of photography. It slows you down in the best way. You start noticing light, color, texture. You become more present. Studies have even shown that engaging in photography can boost your creativity and reduce stress, especially as we age. If you're curious where to begin, just go outside with your phone and snap 5 pictures. Try different angles, up close, far away, from above. Then play around with editing right on your phone, brighten it, crop it, make it black and white. Before long, you'll find your favorite style. And if you want to learn more, there are hundreds of free tutorials on YouTube made for beginners, and some libraries even offer in-person photography classes for seniors. The goal isn't perfection. It's seeing beauty in the everyday. It's telling your story, one image at a time. Maybe you'll print a few and create a photo wall. Maybe you'll email them to family. Or maybe you'll just keep them for yourself, as reminders of what makes life lovely. And speaking of lovely, if you've ever found joy in music, our next skill is going to light up your heart. Because you don't need to play an instrument to make music, you just need a playlist and a little curiosity. Number 3, Beginner's Digital Music Creation or Spotify Playlist Curation. You know that moment when an old song comes on the radio, and suddenly, you're back in your first car, windows down, singing at the top of your lungs. Music does something magical. It brings memories alive, shifts our mood, even boosts brain power. And the beauty is, you don't need to be a musician to play with it. These days, creating with music is easier than ever. If you've never tried building a Spotify playlist, I promise, it's as simple as clicking a heart. You can make one for your morning coffee, your evening walks, even one just filled with songs that remind you of your high school days. A friend of mine, Betty, made a 70s jazz and whiskey playlist for her bridge group. Now they listen, laugh, and remember their wild college days. Music isn't just fun, it's good for the brain. Studies show that listening to familiar tunes can improve memory, especially in older adults. And creating playlists actually engages your sequencing skills, memory recall, and emotional intelligence all at once. It's like mental yoga, except with Aretha Franklin instead of a downward dog. Now, if you're feeling a bit adventurous, there's something called GarageBand. It's a free app on iPhones and iPads that lets you make your own music using loops and instruments, even if you've never played a note in your life. You can drag and drop guitar riffs, piano chords, or drum beats to build a little tune. It might sound silly at first, but I've seen folks light up when they realize they just composed something. And don't worry if that feels too techy. Even just exploring new music or revisiting old favorites can feel like an adventure. You might stumble upon songs your kids or grandkids love. Or rediscover something that once meant the world to you. One woman I know, Diana, created a life soundtrack playlist. She added songs from each decade of her life, her wedding, her first job, the lullaby she sang to her babies. Then she shared it with her grandkids, and they added their own favorites too. It became a cross-generational playlist, and a living time capsule of their family story. So whether you're hitting play on your favorite record or tapping around a music app for the first time, this skill isn't about mastering anything. It's about enjoying, reconnecting, and remembering that rhythm and joy don't retire. Now, if the idea of creating something online sparked a little curiosity, just wait until we talk about building your very own website or blog. Because next, we're diving into a space where you can share your stories, passions, or even family history, with just a few clicks. Number 4. Basic coding or website building. If someone told you 30 years ago that you'd have your own website someday, you probably would have laughed and said, "That's for the young techies, not me." But guess what? It's easier, and more fun, than ever. And it's not about becoming a computer genius. It's about telling your story, sharing your wisdom, and maybe even surprising yourself. Website building today doesn't mean typing lines of code in a dark basement. Platforms like Wix and Squarespace have made it so easy. Even my friend George, who still writes checks at the grocery store, built a site for his family's genealogy project. He called it The Martins of Minnesota, and now the whole clan, from California to Florida, visits it to see old photos, family recipes, and even birthday reminders. What's beautiful about building a website in retirement is that it taps into two powerful things: creativity and problem solving. You're picking colors, arranging memories, and making decisions. Psychologists say activities like this stimulate parts of the brain that are essential for maintaining cognitive sharpness as we age. And when it's connected to personal meaning, like sharing your family's journey, it becomes even more powerful. Not ready to dive into full websites? Try Scratch, a free and playful platform designed for beginners of all ages. It lets you build simple games or animations using visual blocks instead of complicated code. It's like digital Lego. A gentleman in our local library class, 79 years young, built a little animation of his dog Max barking at the mailman. He showed it to his great-grandkids, and they were blown away. Grandpa made a cartoon. And here's something fun: many communities now offer tech classes for older adults, often taught by patient instructors, or even by teenagers who get volunteer credit. If you've ever thought about learning just enough to post your own recipes, showcase your artwork, or start a blog about the places you've traveled, this might be your sign to jump in. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Think of it like gardening. You plant a seed, like your homepage, and slowly nurture it. Maybe next week you add a photo. Maybe the week after, a story. And before long, you've built something that's not just on the internet, it's part of your legacy. You've lived a life full of stories, skills, and lessons. Why not carve out a little corner of the internet where those things can live on? And if this kind of creative building sparks your interest, just wait until you pick up a brush, or an iPad stylus, and start painting what's inside you. That's what we're exploring next. Number 5. Painting, watercolor, or digital drawing. I remember the first time I tried painting as an adult. I dipped my brush into the watercolor set like it was a science experiment. The lines were wobbly, the colors ran into each other, and honestly, my apple looked more like a potato. But you know what? 5 minutes in, something shifted. My breathing slowed. My shoulders relaxed. And for the first time that day, I wasn't thinking about anything else. Just brush, paper, color, and calm. Painting, whether it's with a classic watercolor set or on a tablet with your finger, isn't about talent. It's about tapping into a part of yourself that's been quietly waiting for a little attention. A part that enjoys beauty, play, and the joy of making something just for the sake of it. Studies show that engaging in creative arts like painting can actually reduce anxiety and improve emotional well-being in older adults. And it makes sense. When you're focused on blending blue and green to capture the shade of your garden leaves, there's no space for worry. It's a kind of moving meditation. Gentle, colorful, and surprisingly healing. Now, if you haven't touched a paintbrush since grade school, or ever, you're in great company. Many seniors start fresh in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s. My friend Clara picked up watercolor during a rainy week in Oregon at age 71. She started painting quiet scenes from her morning walks: trees, benches, little flowers pushing through the sidewalk cracks. Those paintings now hang in the local library. Not because she planned to be an artist, but because her piece showed up in the brushstrokes, and people noticed. Don't feel like buying a whole art set? You can use free apps like Procreate Pocket on a phone or tablet. You can doodle, sketch, play with color palettes, all without making a mess or spending much. Some of the most freeing creative sessions come from just drawing lines and circles and seeing where your hand takes you. And there's no need to go it alone. Libraries, senior centers, and even YouTube are full of beginner-friendly tutorials. You don't need to be good, you just need to enjoy the process. That's the magic. Think of it this way, your entire life has been full of moments worth capturing. Painting is just another way to slow down and appreciate them. Maybe it's the tree outside your window. Maybe it's the way your cat sleeps in the same sunny spot. Or maybe it's something you saw 40 years ago that's still vivid in your mind. So even if your first attempt looks a little potato-ish like mine, that's okay. What matters is the joy you let in while making it. And speaking of capturing memories, sometimes the most powerful way to do that isn't through a picture or painting, but through words. Let's talk next about a skill that turns your memories into something truly lasting. Number 6. Creative writing or memoir journaling. Have you ever caught yourself telling a story from your past, maybe about your first car, a childhood summer, or a moment that still makes you laugh, and someone says, "You should write that down"? That's what we're exploring now, using words to preserve the memories, thoughts, and reflections that only you can tell. Writing doesn't have to mean publishing a book. It can be as simple as a notebook on your kitchen table, or a few minutes at your computer. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is connection, to your past, your people, and maybe even to parts of yourself you haven't visited in a while. One of the easiest ways to start is with prompts. Think of them as gentle nudges that open a door. Try something like, write about the first time you traveled alone. Or, describe a meal that reminds you of your childhood. These questions turn the blank page into a conversation, and suddenly, the stories flow. Jean, a dear friend of mine, began writing little letters to her grandchildren. They started as weekly notes with simple thoughts: "Today I planted tulips," or, "When I was your age, I loved chocolate chip pancakes." But over time, those letters grew into full stories. Her daughter collected them, printed them in a little booklet, and now Jean's memories are a family treasure. Not because they're dramatic or groundbreaking, but because they're hers. And writing has real brain benefits. Studies show that regular journaling improves memory, focus, and even emotional resilience in older adults. It helps the mind stay sharp and the heart feel heard. If typing isn't your thing, try speech-to-text apps. You speak, and the app types it out for you. Tools like Google Docs or Otter.ai make it easy to capture your voice, even if you never touch a keyboard. And there's something very special about hearing your own words read back to you. You might start with a memory journal, or even write short pieces for a local senior newsletter or Facebook group. Or just jot down a favorite quote each morning and write what it means to you. There's no wrong way to do it. What matters is that your stories matter. Whether it's a funny tale from high school, a moment of strength you got through, or a dream you're still holding on to, writing helps those pieces find light. And when you start honoring your voice, it becomes easier to share it with others. That's why the last skill we'll look at today is a little more physical, but just as expressive. It's something that can ground you in your body, lift your spirits, and maybe even surprise you with how good it feels. Number 7. Beginners Tai Chi, Yoga, or dancing lessons online. You might not think of movement as a skill, but hear me out. The way we move through the world, literally, can change how we feel inside. And after 60, our bodies may not want to leap and twist the way they used to, but they're still craving motion, rhythm, and flow. That's where something like Tai Chi, gentle yoga, or even a little dancing in your living room can work wonders. This isn't about stretching yourself into a pretzel or signing up for a triathlon. It's about reclaiming a connection with your body, gently, joyfully, and in a way that brings more balance to your days. Literally and emotionally. Tai Chi is often described as meditation in motion. And for good reason. It's slow, graceful, and surprisingly powerful when it comes to improving balance and preventing falls. One study from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that older adults practicing Tai Chi twice a week had significantly fewer balance issues than those who didn't. That's huge. But if Tai Chi feels too unfamiliar, you might try a beginner yoga session online. YouTube is full of gentle yoga instructors who specialize in teaching older adults. No fancy gear needed, just a mat, a chair if you like, and an open mind. 10 minutes a day can loosen stiff joints and calm a racing brain. And then, of course, there's dancing. Yes, dancing. I know some folks say, "I've got 2 left feet, but who cares?" Put on a favorite tune, clear a bit of space, and sway, tap, or spin however your heart wants to. Movement doesn't need an audience, it needs a spirit that says, "I'm still here, and I'm still enjoying this ride." Take Frank, for instance. He picked up line dancing online at 80, just to try something new. Now, every Friday evening, he joins a small group at the community center and dances to classic country hits. "I don't remember all the steps," he told me, "but I remember how it feels." And that's enough. That's really what this is about. You don't need to master the moves. You just need to show up. Try one guided session. Take a walk to a slow playlist. Stretch while the coffee brews. Let your body remember what it's like to feel strong, balanced, and free. Because physical skills don't just strengthen our muscles, they strengthen our confidence. And they remind us that we are still capable of learning, growing, and enjoying life in ways both big and small. So, my friend, we've just explored 7 fun, fulfilling skills that aren't just for the young, they're for the curious. For the bold. For anyone who believes that retirement isn't the end of learning, but the start of learning what you actually want to. Whether it's speaking Spanish with your grandkids, snapping stunning garden photos, curating playlists that make your mornings brighter, or finally trying Tai Chi, each of these small adventures holds something big inside: joy, connection, growth. Maybe one of them sparked a little excitement in you. Maybe you've already tried one, or maybe this is your sign to start. Whichever it is, just remember, you don't have to do all 7. Just pick one. One that feels light, fun, or even a little silly. Give it 10 minutes today. That's all it takes to shift your day, and maybe your whole outlook. You've made it through careers, raised families, overcome changes and challenges. That means you already know how to try, how to adapt, and how to keep going. Learning something new now. That's not a chore. That's a celebration of everything you've already built, and everything still ahead. I'd love to know, which of these 7 are you excited to try? Drop it in the comments. You might inspire someone else reading, someone who needed a little nudge today. And if this video gave you an idea, a smile, or even just reminded you that it's never too late to learn, give it a like. Subscribe to Vibrant Elders, we're here to grow together. Because this chapter isn't about winding down. It's about waking up to new possibilities. Here's to you, your energy, your spark, your next adventure. You're not too old. You're just getting started.